everybody. Good evening. It's one more Spiritual Light show, and today our topic is mental health, purpose, and technology. So, how we are with all this technology, how this is affecting our mental health, how we can override it, or at least concentrate a little bit better, and how Spiritism help us to do it. So, as I said, it's wonderful to be here, and especially with Charles and Silvia. So, good evening, Silvia. How are you, my dear?
I'm very well, thank you. Nice to see you and Charles. And this is a very, today, the subject is very important, isn't it? It's very much in people's minds and a lot of difficulties and everything. So I'm looking forward to a conversation today. And, it would be nice if people join in and give you their opinions as well. So welcome everyone from another conversation with us.
Thank you, my dear. Bonsoir, Charles.
Bonsoir, Steven. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to be here again, second live of the year, to about this subject. And indeed, I mean, our world is getting more and more turbulent, and how can we find our way in all this? And Spiritist body of knowledge is quite helpful for it.
Okay, good, good. So, as I said today, we are in a age, in a time in which the global mental health the global mental health concerns continues to rise. So every time we read the newspaper, we open your phone, we always see something related to mental health. Uh, some connected with emotional distress, um, especially among the young kids. And at the same time, we are seeing rapid technological advances uh, in which this is reshaping the society. Uh, some people have only see the pros, the other people see only the cons, but definitely we do have pros and cons with this uh, um, advancement of the technology. So, why this matter for Spiritism? So, what's the connection? Uh, from our point of view here, Spiritism emphasizes the inner life of the soul, which is moral balance and meaning beyond material distraction. In in an era where you have this technological acceleration and psychological strain, Spiritist teachings offers to us tools for our emotional resilience, for our self knowledge, and for us to find purpose. So, yes, among all these, uh, let's say, current scenario we are living in, war, attacks, uh, no jobs, inflation, sometimes hope, sometimes hopeless. So we we needed to keep seeing the cup half full, not half empty. And this is what we gonna talk about a little bit here. Okay. Uh, Let me start with you, Charles. How does Spiritism view mental health in relation to the spirit, emotions, and body?
Yes, it's a good question. So I will answer in the best possible way because I'm not a psychologist nor a psychiatrist. So I'm engineer, so I cannot enter in much details of these specialized faculties. But I can at least try to answer in general terms. Huh? Um, so mental health is a question of balance. Huh? A lot of times we lose or we don't have a clear view of the purpose of life. Huh? You have, by the way, some authors like this Viktor Frankl with the logotherapy. Huh? So he was in a situation in WW2, sorry, in concentration camp and lost the whole family and survived by miracle. And after this, he found the strength in order to define this logotherapy. So therapy through seeing a purpose of life, seeing values in life. And it was incredible because what he suffered, it's very hard to resist and to find the resources, the inner resources, to propose such nice solutions as what he has done. The Spiritist body of knowledge is, of course, how to say, bringing also some very strong resources in this way, because the Spiritist body of knowledge is spiritualist. This means explains us that we have a soul, that we are currently incarnated in a physical body, that this had a start and will have an end. We will die one day or the other, in 5 minutes or in some decades. But we are sure we will die one day or the other. But Spiritism module of knowledge explains that the soul does not die. Only the physical body dies. And the soul remains, survives to what is called the death, goes back in the spiritual world, and goes back keeping its individuality, which means all the knowledge, what we are, what we know, our qualities, our defaults as well. All this we take with us. But what is also sure, as almost every live I repeat it, is we will not take one single penny or one single atom of our physical body. All what is material, we don't take anything with us. We leave all this here. But what happens nowadays? Nowadays, you see, everything is focused on material comfort, on consumption. Everything is focused on how to say making use as much as possible of resources and tools and technology. It's a kind of a motivated almost by some selfishness. And okay, we have only one life, and this is exactly one of the arguments for these materialistic ideas, that the soul does not survive. And since we have only one life, we should really take opportunity of it as much as we can during the life, even if we don't respect the others, or even using the strengths, as we can see today, to take the resources or even the land of the others, and which are weaker and so on. So it's absolutely incredible which happens today, and it's really being put at a level that it gets almost caricatural, you know. But the spiritist body of knowledge gives us the strength to understand that all this is a mistake, that it's not money making us happy. It's the money and all this running after always having the better car or going in holidays in a far countries or whatever does not bring happiness, does not bring inner peace. And why this? Because we are an incarnated spirit again. So there is a kind of a mismatch, a disharmony between what we are induced to do through this materialistic, consumeristic pressure and what we keep innerly as intuition, the knowledge of the spiritual life, which is in the opposite direction. So our spirit sees clearly or feels that what we are doing by running only after material stuff is not the good way, and this is not the way. And this unbalance between this spiritualistic ideal and this materialistic blinds is bringing this disequilibrium. We are losing the purpose of life, which is not to get richer and richer. The purpose of life is for our soul to progress. So it's completely different. And this is then sooner or later creating the mental health problems. You see, you have a lot of suicides, you have a lot of people in depression and whatever. And this is exactly a consequence of this loss of what is the purpose, what is the meaning of life. And the spiritist body of knowledge is really bringing us the right basis for the purpose of life. Of course, in a spiritualistic paradigm, because the materialistic paradigm is excluding or with a negation of the soul, but without any evidence for it. It's just a statement, just let's say a kind of a comfortable way of thinking, and even induced by the power, economical power in particular, to manipulate us, to make us consume more and more, And when we see how the technology is used nowadays, you see, we are using the technology. Spiritist body of knowledge is not against technology and progress of technology. It's the opposite. Technology is a tool that you can use for good things, and you can use also for things which are not so good. We are here using technology, trying to use it in the best possible way. But when you look how these social medias and how these things are organized, when you see what is the contract behind those things, it's really terrific. You have people with very high knowledge of how does all this satisfaction and whatever work in the brain, with these different biochemical components and so on. They know exactly how to stimulate this to make you more and more dependent, and what are they doing this? Just to get money, to make you consume something. So it's absolutely incredible what's happening today. And that's why I'm really I'm very happy of knowing Spiritist body of knowledge, because we can see all this with a little bit more distance, you see. We can see how this is going to some kind of knownness. And we have the basis of the Spiritist philosophy with all these values, the spiritual values, which give us values based on facts, based on common sense, and not dogmatic value that we have to believe without understanding, like it is the case in the traditional religions, which, by the way, can help for the people who do not want to think about and who just want to be told what they have to do and what they have not to do. But the majority of the humans nowadays, they want to understand before believing something. And that is exactly the big change that the Spiritist body of knowledge brought, to make us understand what is the purpose of life and to see all these bad uses of technology a little bit differently. And also to have the inner strength in order to cope and to stay optimistic even in the turbulent world we have nowadays. So just as a quick introduction, I think Silvia has probably a lot to add to it.
Silvinha, you're on mute, my dear.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it was a great introduction, and I think Charles made some of the very, very important points. How we are, in many ways, we are very disconnected with each other. You know, technology is wonderful. And, you know, like Charles pointed out, we are using the technology here in a very wonderful way, because, you know, now we are in 3 different countries in Europe, aren't we? And we are here as if we are sitting in the same room together, and all the people who be watching us before, after, or are joining us now in this. So technology has a very important point, and the advance of it facilitates our lives without any doubt. But I think, you know, like everything else, sometimes mankind uses what is really good in a very negative way. And talking about, I think Charles mentioned very briefly about social media, and which is an extremely dangerous kind of thing, because, you know, someone will post something. Actually, someone was telling me this the other day, this friend of hers, a friend of this person that I know well, was in social media, and she posted something quite simple, quite, you know, not to think a lot about, but she had so many negative comments, and some of them were quite so offensive. And that she was so upset about the comments that people made, you know, about something simple that she just posted that she thought was interesting for her. That she has now decided, she has closed all her social media accounts because she became very depressed. And, you know, for a month and a half or something, every time she sort of opened her eyes, she was talking about the comments that people made. And I think that's one of the problems as well. We are so distant from ourselves that it's easier to just go and make very negative comments about someone. And if you read this and if you take to heart, it can really, really make your life very, very difficult and painful. And I think this comes from one point that Charles was saying. We are so disconnected with ourselves. I remember once Givaldo was talking about something, and he said, he was making a comment that we have lost the address of God. We have become so materialistic, isn't it? And we are not that point of religion, or not a sort of religion as following, you know, rules and things like in churches, but that kind of feeling, that connection we have with God, that is irrelevant of believing in God, or going to a church, or following a traditional religion. But we have this connection with God. And we have lost that because we become so materialistic. Everything is easier now to do, and we are transferring things into the material, trying to get pleasure from the material things. Jung wrote an introduction to a book to one of his friends, and the book was Heinrich, I think his name was. He wrote a book called The Holy Men of India. This back in the 40s, in the 30s and 40s. And he was talking about the religious man, the Safis and all that. And Jung wrote an introduction to that book, and he was making a comparison, which at the time was quite valid, because he was saying that the difference between the man in the West and the man in the East is that they put more emphasis in their inner life, what makes them happy, things that is for their spirits, for their soul. And in the West, we put things very, we take pleasure in having a better car, living in a bigger house, or going on holidays to far lands. I mean, nowadays it took months and months and months to go to Tahiti. Now, just in a few hours, you're there, and especially if you have a private plane, which quite a lot of people do nowadays, amazingly. So, but I think this difference now, it doesn't exist, or it's very, very much now, because we know that a lot of the cultures in the East, like in China and Japan and even in other countries, now they are exactly like now, us, the globalization sort of, in a way, made the whole world materialistic, and we always trying to get pleasure, trying things to fulfill us outside of ourselves. More money, a better bank account, better clothes. I mean, nowadays, it's this thing about, I didn't even know what it was. Somebody was explaining to me the other day, influencers, because I hear about these things. I didn't realize what it is. Basically, it's a lot of people who is advertising stuff, so everybody now wants to have labels. You're not considered to be accepted in society if you're not wearing Prada or whatever it is. So, and this, it makes it feel empty, because things that are exterior to ourselves are not going to fulfill that human need for connection, for compassion. We become so individualistic. We think about ourselves and our needs. And the very nature of the way we were created, and we as spiritists accept that we were created by God as His eternal spirits, the fulfillment that we only have, that will give us not only pleasure and joy, but also grace, is something that we do for our spirit, is our connection with others, it's our sense of compassion, of empathy. And I think, also we seem to have forgotten as well quite a lot of the feeling of being grateful for a good day, grateful that you have a friend. Many years ago, I remember watching this movie, and they had the song. He said, if you have a friend on whom you think you can rely on, you are a lucky man. And the sense as well of having friends that you can go to them, talk to them about your problems, be yourself with them. This is such a blessing. We have to be grateful for that, grateful that we are living in a world that, with all the difficulties, with all the problems, with all the fears, is still quite good, is quite wonderful, and most people are good. We need to learn this, to be grateful for our lives, for our families, for our friends, for being. And I think that's why we feel so distant with so many things that happen. We are fearful. I think we live very much in fear. For the media makes us, wars there. They only talk about what is negative, what's bad, and sometimes can be quite heavy, weighing on you, all this negative news that come. But there are good things in the world. There are many, many wonderful things happening, and most people are good people. And also, I think we, as a spiritist, and as Charles was saying, the body of knowledge of the spiritist teachings teaches us that this life is just one life among many, many. I mean, we have this existence. It's just one of many, many existence, and we are always learning, always progressing as a spirit. This is, whatever we have, as much as we have, they will come that we're going to have to leave it. And no matter how, people have $40 billion, they will not going to be able to take with them that money, you know. But if they were to help people, give them jobs and open hospitals or something, they can leave a legacy that will last. And I think that's one of the things is to be able to reach out to others, to share what we have, to be grateful to the good things that we have. And also, I think the solution for the many problems that we have, Charles also mentioned the question of suicide, which is, I think, is one of the greatest problems that we are living through nowadays, isn't it? So many people taking their own lives because they think that's the end, there is no hope, because it's so materialistic. Whereas Spiritism teaches us that this is just a few years that we are living here. It's like a dot, you know, like speck in the eternal life that we have, and gives us hope for the future. We know that the difficulties, the problems that we go through now, we will overcome it, we'll go past, and we will have different lives, more chances, and we are not, nothing ends now. We continue living after the end of this physical body that we have now. So I think, you know, a solution for the problems is love, and sort of remembering what Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. He said, love yourself, and then you'll be able to love your neighbor. And I think that's what would be the connection for us, you know, in this very sort of uh, parceled up world. I think that, you know,
Yeah,
we
it is
live an
more
existential crisis, isn't it? But
put the mask in yourself first, then help the others.
yes, definitely. Yes. Yes.
I'm back. I'm back.
Yes, yes, we
Yeah,
can hear
yeah.
you.
Okay, it's like as I'm saying, it is more like put the mask in yourself, then help others. We need to learn this. Yeah. So I want to say good evening to Helia Rom, Joelma Dutra, Juana Mora, and Juana also make very good comments here for us. She said, like the spiritism isn't about becoming martyrs, it's about living, experiencing, learning in order to evolve. I fully agree with this statement, Juana. Also, she says riches and poverty are all part of evolutionary process. Yeah. Uh, People who are rich and misuse that opportunity will be born poor in another life until they learn to make good use of that money and power. Also, good evening to Louvième. So, yes, as Juana said here, everything it is evolving. Everything is a matter of uh, uh, understand the situation. Of course, uh, when you make a mistake, but that mistake was done with us, that feeling that we are doing the correct thing has a different weight when you do that in a purpose. You know it's not right. You know you're gonna make others suffer. You know this cause problems, and then you do it. Is totally different. So we need to learn, and there are zillion ways to learn. One of those methods, it is what Juana said. If you are rich now and you misuse the money, you may come in another incarnation poor to give value for the money and learn how to use it. but it's not like a rule. It is there, as I said, there are many other ways to do it. But at the same time, um, I, I am a little bit younger than Charles and Sylvia, but what we do have in common here, uh, I lived in a world in which we didn't have mobile phones. We only have like we had one TV at home, and sometimes we need to put like I don't know, Silva Bombril on the antennas of the TV to make it
Yeah.
to stop the rain
Yeah.
inside of the TV,
Yeah.
like
And you had to pull the aerial and move
exactly,
around.
or you need to go up to the roof, turn the antenna until your mom is downstairs saying, "Hey, yeah, stop it, a little bit more, right? No, yeah, stop there." So I born in this way, and this is common for Charles and Sylvia. And in the middle of this, we had to learn how to deal with this technology. First of all was mobile phones, then internet, then the information now in our fingertips. Then now we have AI, and we need to learn this. I consider, this is my opinion, an advantage against those who are today because they only know internet and that's it. If you remove internet from them, they don't know what to do. They don't know how to handle it. And this is, in my viewpoint, the problem. And where this affects spiritism, this affects spiritism because when you when you start to have that feeling, you need to have a screen in order to keep rolling to feel better. It's a problem. Doesn't matter which age you are. You can be in my age or younger or older. If you need the internet, your phone, to keep you rolling until you feel better, feel relief, that's a problem. Because remember when Jesus said, when you want to talk to me, go to your room, close the door, and stay. So he used, of course, a metaphor, but what he was saying is, hey, I'm here. You just need to connect with me. And connect with him, you need to stay away from the noises you have all the day and concentrate and focus on him. And we don't have it. Like going now to a spirit center and listen a talk for about 1 hour, 2 hours. Most of the times you see people like this in the middle of the meeting. That's a problem. Because the body, it is there, but your mind is not there. So,
I think what you're saying, Stevan, is a question of being present, isn't it? Which is something that, for some reason, we've lost as well, because we are here, but nowadays we are so used to technology coming so fast, so quickly, that we are doing something, and it feels almost like if the extent of that people can actually concentrate on something, is becoming shorter and shorter because their mind's always going, and there is just always something coming on their phone. And I always find it very interesting the number of people that bump into you in the street because they're on their phone. And I don't know how they can walk. They don't see anything. I saw the other day, not very long ago, in the paper, someone actually fell in the river because he
Really?
was walking in a canal and
Really?
he was on his phone and he was walking and he fell because he didn't realize he had gone over, which is completely crazy. People crossing the streets on their phones without seeing the traffic. Um, and I think this is a need that we need as well, to be present, to be with ourselves, um, to to be able to. It's almost like we run away from ourselves. No one wants to be on their own with themselves. I don't know. What you think, Charles?
True. I mean, yes, it's not, the mic is on. It's true because really, internet is bringing closer people who are far away one from the other, but putting more far away people of the same family. You see how many times you see father, mother, and children, everyone in his on the smartphone, talking with people which are far away and losing a lot of this interaction inside the own family. So this may have consequences that we are far today to be able to evaluate properly. There are a lot of studies nowadays showing we should limit. Also, as parents, we have to be careful not to give the bad example to the children. And there is something. I mean, willing or not willing, with all this artificiality, which is also in these networks and social media and whatever, we are losing this uh, love. We could say it's even love between our neighbors. Going to some artificial stuff that will not bring us, may bring us some satisfaction, neurochemical satisfaction, as per the way the brain is working and which is used by the organizers of this system, but which will not bring happiness and peace in the soul itself. And that is, I think, a real danger we are facing right now. So technology, and we can see it. You said that the world is getting turbulent. I would even say it's a jungle. It's getting a jungle right now, isn't it? We see things that are absolutely incredible and inconceivable. How can it be? What we hear sometimes, the statements of people who are responsible, who are leading countries and so on, it's simply unbelievable. The values are getting completely lost. We have a kind of an impression it's only the money, it's only the power, only the strength, only the wealth, only the selfishness and whatever. But one day or the other, in French, we say we will fall down from the cloud, we will come back to the reality, and the reality may be much different. There are a lot of threats. If there is a generalized war, nobody will win in that. Everybody will lose.
Yeah.
If there is a huge financial crisis, then a lot of this foam, will disappear from one day to the other. And as you told, Stevan, when I was young, there was no smartphone, no computer, nothing. And we lived perfectly without all this stuff. So we know how to start again living like this. But for the new generations, it may be more difficult because everything is somehow granted. But it's not, in the reality, it's not. And we may lose it quicker than what we think. And at those moments, clearly, the only value which will remain are the spiritual values, the values of the soul, the values which are immortal.
Exactly. exactly. It's
I think also, through the teachings of the spirits, and also, this being part of culture, that we are really now at the end of the world of transformation, isn't it? We're leaving from a world of atonement to a word of regeneration. And like in the book Genesis, towards the end of times and everything, um the powers that be, we want to hold on to what they have. And also, there are many spirits now living on this planet who are having almost their last opportunity to, if they don't progress, they are going to be exiled to a planet that is still more backward than the Earth. And of course, it's a long process, but I think we've been living it for the last 300 years, and the whole thing is started with when the changing of the ideas, the great philosophers, especially in France, the Illuminists, Diderot and Montesquieu, and all those philosophers who had new ideas. So this being a process of change now for quite a long time. And I think we are coming now to the crux, to the really everything sort of, it's almost like the earth is filtering who is going forward and who is going to remain and who is going to be taken back. So a lot of the things that we see as well, um, it's part of this process, that the whole planet, because we as spirits who are incarnated, are transforming, are changing. And this is part of, the era of Aquarius, the end of the age, the era of Pisces, new humanity, this, especially in the 60s, they used to talk a lot about that. But we know it's a transformation, is a change, and there are many things that shock us. And I think, somebody was saying something the other day, and to me it was so alien, absolutely so alien. I have no idea how this kind of things happen, or the kinds of things that people go through or do to themselves. And because we live a life of, we seem to almost live in two different planets. There are such a horrendous, horrible things. And our life is more or less, we fight, we go to work, we try to do our best, we get sick, we get better, but we don't live this life of quite a desperation. There was this writer in the Times used to say, we live a life of quite desperation, and some people do. But this is part of the process as well, isn't it? That we are coming towards the end of an age, and we're beginning the world of regeneration, in which we be more humane, more understanding. When you think about the advance of science now, how much has progressed in the last 40 years, 50 years even. Most people now who suffer from cancer survive. And, even 40 years ago, it was total condemnation. You wouldn't survive. Medicine is advanced. Science is advanced. Even they are even talking about now, the hardcore scientists are accepting that consciousness actually lives, is something beyond the body, which, if you think about even 5 years ago, that would be something completely absurd to hear anyone in the scientific world to say something like that. So there are things that, and it's very challenging for us. But I think with one of the point that you said, we didn't have mobile phones and we didn't have anything, the science has, this development of the technology has developed so fast, hasn't it? I mean, I'm sure
Mhm.
you remember I don't know you. I know you're very young in relation to us, but do you remember the first time the mobile phones came? They were huge, like a brick, and then but soon they went to very, very small. But then you had to pull an aerial. You had this huge aerial, and then soon after they changed. The aerial was gonna, and now we don't have it. And we have more technology now in a mobile phone than they had to send, money to space. I went to an exhibition at Science Museum, and they had the Sputnik of Yuri Gagarin, and it was so funny. They had this kind of atlas, this world in a little plastic thing, like those little toys you had as children to see the world going round. And he actually did the calculations himself, going around in this globe. And he was doing all the calculations to be able to come down to Earth back again. And now we have more technology in a phone, even the most cheapest phones now have more technology than they did. But I think we adapt as well, because I know quite a lot of old people who are doing courses in using the internet and especially now because email is almost beginning to be old-fashioned as well, isn't it? Now
Yeah.
everybody's on WhatsApp and
It's Slack. Today is
AI.
more Slack.
Yeah,
Is
it's so many
WhatsApp.
different things.
Yeah.
But we adapt, we adapt. But it's very funny sometimes. I was watching a movie not too long ago, and then the lady in the film, was a policewoman, and she was saying, "May I use your phone?" And and I said, "Why doesn't she take her own phone to use?" I thought she had her own mobile phone, but 40 years ago, she didn't have. People actually borrow. May I use your phone? To call. And I was, why doesn't she use her own phone to ring? So you see, even us who've gone through the change in technology already forgot. We have
Yeah.
already forgotten how it used to be. It's crazy, but it is.
It is. It is. It is crazy. It is. It
But
is
it's nice. I
insane.
like technology, I must say. I like
No, it's
technology.
important. It is. It is. It is important. But we need to know how to balance it. No, we
Yes,
need
that's
to. We need to do it. Um, and honestly, I don't know. We can see the in the spirit centers. Uh, um, like today, it's kind of very difficult for someone to give a speech without a PowerPoint. I was once in a spirit center in which the PowerPoint didn't work. The speaker didn't give the speech.
yes, that's
So uh, it's this is not good. This is not good. Uh, but at the same time, we don't see people reading as they should read. I'm pretty sure, Silvia, you were the time when you two used to take the bus, and everybody, almost 100%, the bus was
was
reading.
really
People
everyone indeed.
forget to get off the bus because they are reading when they notice the bus stop already passed, but they are reading. And we need people. We do have uh, like the modernization we were saying, like uh, here in Ireland, we are trying to do as much as we can in English, not because it is the right thing to do, because that speak here and having the spiritism in English here, it is our obligation. Full stop. It's not because, oh, there, no, 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 full stop. It's our obligation. We are in Ireland. We are the immigrants here. So we are in Irish people country. So we need to adapt to their rules, not the vice versa. But we do everything and we try to keep it on YouTube, like all these conversations we having now, because when I go, when it's my time to discarnate, I don't want the people who are coming after me need to go to the basics, because the basics is already here, done by me, by you, Silvia, by you, Charles, by Elsa, by everybody. The basics are here. They can start from a, a, a little bit better, let's say better compared to us. So that's why internet, that's why technology, it's so important, because we can give this legacy recorded. Like when Charles today, can you imagine if we have this internet at the Kardec's time? It's going to be wonderful. So we will listen Kardec talking, Kardec teaching, Kardec saying what he needs to say. But I'm pretty sure the vision we do have nowadays, if we had technology at that time, the vision we have nowadays from Kardec is going to be totally different.
But I think one thing that's interesting is that for what you're saying, is that this technology already exists in the spiritual world.
Yes.
I remember this book of André Luiz, I think it's Obreiros, Workers of Vida Eternal Life, in which they are describing an accident, a plane accident that happened. And there are a lot of spirits are there collecting the people. There is a big story behind that. And they are in this place, in this area in the spiritual world, that some of the workers that are there spiritually recovering the spirits that had died in the accident and everything, and they are sending messages, photograph, images of what was happening in the accident directly to them, and they could see it in a screen. And I think this book was published in 1946. And now we are actually living this reality, that André Luiz was describing in
Mhm.
1946. We have something happens, and I remember, I can never forget that tsunami that was in Japan, and I was having my breakfast sitting there, and I was looking at it as it was happening. This water was coming in, and there were cameras everywhere, because now we have cameras everywhere, and was being filmed, and the people running, and I thought, my God. And it's because now we have all these images coming to us as it happens, but this was already described
We
in
can.
a book that was probably 1946. So the advance, that's why I think children they are so up now in technology. They don't really, they already know it, because they've already living this in the spiritual world. That's far more advanced than the world here, isn't it? Because I think one of the things that sometimes in our level of development, we tend to get everything and transform into a weapon
Yeah.
of destruction, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something that can be, say, for instance, an example, the split of the atom that could create electricity, can create. The first thing they did with it was a bomb. And I think that's one of the why we cannot, progress, because we still don't know
Yeah.
how to use things.
And at the
But
same
we're
time,
changing, we're getting better.
yeah. Well, I we saw on TV the second plane hitting the tower on September 11th. We saw it online. It
So,
was live.
so it was live. Yes, yes.
Was live. We saw it. The second plane hitting the tower.
Yeah.
So, Charles, we have 2 minutes. What's your final
Yes,
consideration?
indeed. This is why I said it's a jungle, huh? The world is getting a jungle, huh?
The jungle there.
The people who are really promoting liberty of this, liberty of that. It remembers me the image. Huh? You have a free fox in a free chicken house. Poor chicken. If we don't protect the chicken, they have not a long life expectancy.
Yeah.
So that's our world is getting more and more like that nowadays. It's incredible. And clearly, the the sustainability of the humanity on the world will only happen through the change of paradigm, through changing, going out of this materialistic paradigm. We will anyhow have to go out sooner or later of it because the resources of our planet, the material resources, are limited. Huh? We see it right now with these rare earths and metals which are indispensable for batteries and whatsoever, which are very seldom here and there. We may find a little bit more here, a little bit more there, but sooner or later this will end up, huh? Because Deus, God, was wise enough to make the resources of our planet limited. So when we go to this exaggeration in the materialistic consumption and so on, of a sudden it will have to stop because we are not yet able to go to another planet and to bring all what we need back here. So the only possible future for the humanity on the planet is to change the paradigm from this materialist paradigm to the spiritualist paradigm. And that is really the key for having a better world and sustainable world in long term.
It's interesting a point that Luthem did said, thanks to the technology, I can say thank you for the wonderful talk. It's good, isn't it?
Exactly.
There are good things as well. It's not all bad. Most things are really good. And I, for
If
one, I'm quite glad as well.
if everything would be used with a good purpose and cutting all what is superfluous and then focusing only on what is necessary, that's the future. Huh? The problem is we are wasting resources of our planet for
Yeah.
things without real value. And this will
Mm.
not continue. It will have to stop whether we want it or not.
Yeah, but that is one thing as well, isn't it, Charles? Because we are the architect of our future. If we abuse everything that we have now, we will reincarnate in a new Earth in which there won't be that. So we'll be suffering the consequence of what we're creating now, as well,
Exactly.
isn't
For
it?
those who
Because
say,
the sons of our grandsons will be ourselves.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and those who say, oh, next carnation will be better. Won't be better if you not make this now. It's not because it's new in reincarnation you say, okay, starting from scratch like video game. You have a new life, and there you go, everything is new. Let's return. No, next carnation will only be better than this incarnation if we start to work on it in this incarnation. Full stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
So
I think it's going to be good. It will be good.
no, it's going to be.
We The message of the spirit is body of knowledge is we stay optimistic. It will become better. That's sure. There is
Yes.
no other
Yeah.
way out.
I'm
Yes,
pretty
that's
sure.
true.
I'm pretty sure. Thanks to this technology, as you said, Sylvia, cancer it is a bad thing. It is very kill a lot of people, but today it is manageable. AIDS,
And
for
also,
example,
Steven,
it is manageable.
dying is not the end of everything. We just go back to the spiritual world. We get free from this physical body. So
Yeah,
even this is seen
Yes.
with other eyes.
yeah, yeah.
Mm. I'm going to
Okay,
be
my dear
young and be able to climb trees again.
friend. Okay. Start to write
Mm,
letters and wait months to get a reply.
yeah.
Uh, Okay. My dear friends, thank you. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for the presence, the comments. Juana, she was wonderful here. She wrote a lot of things for us here. So thank you, Juana, for your time to, to write your comments. Luviem, thank you for joining us. Joel Madruta and Riala Rom. So, and also all the other friends who give us like Bianca, Leonardo, uh, Milena. So thank you. I'll see you next week, my friends. Stay tuned. We are getting things organized here, and we will have our announcements back from next week. Okay? So, thank you all. Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Have a safe week. Bye bye.
Have a
Thank
great
you.
week. Bye bye. God bless everyone. Keep safe out there.
Bye bye.
Bye.